Good morning, hello, and welcome. Sorry, we're a minute and a half late. We had some grammatical difficulties. Always a possibility. It happens. It's all good. This is probably where you come here and say, hey, I want a quick fix to all my problems. I've got so many challenges, so many issues, so many things going on. I want you to solve all my problems right here, right now, make it all better. It's not going to happen. And anyone who professes that, say, hey, it's not going to happen. Oh, I'm hearing myself in the background. Nice. And so hearing myself in the background, we're not going to solve every single problem in the world. It's just not going to happen. What our hope is, because we're renegades and we do things differently and we're looking for solutions and we're looking at the opportunities, our hope is in the next 15 minutes, we're going to help you figure out a step or two to take. Because if you think about it, it's the step you take today, the step you take tomorrow, and the steps you take the next day and the day after that actually get you to success. And I would argue that that success is each of those steps being achieved, not always the big outcome that we're hoping for or praying for. So with that, I'm Bob Graham. That's Tom Brush. This is today's Antidote. This week we've been talking about consistency. And today we're going to talk about consistency with what its benefits are. Not just to you, but to the world in general. So Tom, say good morning, and then I'm going to kick this off because I have a little list here of reasons why consistency. I know, I did my homework today.
Excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome, and I'm looking forward to it, what Bob has to say. He's always got good things to say. So
thank you. Tom's a little busy with things today. He's got a lot. He's moving a lot of pieces and parts. So I'm going to take the yeoman's job today and try to steer the ship a little more. And he's going to jump in when he can. Don't be worried. He'll get here. So consistency really helps us. First of all, with our brand. When we say the same thing, when we communicate a consistent message, it helps people understand where we fit into their lives. I'm a big believer that we like to categorize everything. And when we categorize things, we want to be put in a certain category. So Tom and I don't want this webinar, podcast, Facebook Live, whatever you want to call it, this broadcast. We don't want this to be thrown in the category of weight loss or how to. We want this to be in the area of entrepreneurship, leadership, small business. And so what we talk about consistently are those things. And the examples are those things. And even the introduction we do each day, while I change the words up, the same theme is pretty clear because I'm a renegade and I'm not going to say the same thing every day. I just won't do it. No. And that makes it comfortable for our clients or customers. They understand who and what we are, and they know that you are this, not this. Tom works with nonprofits and other organizations to help them figure out how to be more successful. I know that. I can say that quick. And if someone says, hey, tell me about Tom Brush, I give them that right away. And they go, oh, wow, that's interesting. I work with this nonprofit. Let me bring Tom in. Or let me talk to Tom. Or really, I didn't know anyone did that. I'd love to talk to him. Those are great things versus if I go, well, I know Tom does this thing. I know he's got this success path because I heard him talk about it yesterday. I know he worked with this one company and he worked with this other, I think it was a nonprofit. And I know he helps people. Well, I'm sorry. If I tell people Tom helps people, that's pretty much, I might as well just not even have the discussion. So consistency of messaging, our messaging, when it's consistent, helps our customers. It also helps our partners and other people that want to support us. What do you think, Tom?
No, absolutely. And I think it's, and that's that consistency of that is just, doing the same things regularly. It's like networking, that you were talking a little bit about what you need to do while you're networking so you can talk about it, but it's also about the act of doing that. You can't just show up once and think that people are going to be like, oh yeah, this is somebody that I'm just going to take in and they're going to be a great referral partner and they're going to be, maybe a JV partner or whatever the case might be. It's got to be that regular attendance so that people know you are committed to something. And I think it's the same thing. It's exactly what you were saying, is that, when your message is the same, that means this is what you're committed to. This show, we hope, is committed to helping people in their business, in their organization, and sometimes in their professional development, personal development. And I think that's our goal, is to constantly be getting people to think about, how can I be doing things differently? Or how can I look at something a different way? How can I make sure that when I'm headed down my path, which might be different than everybody else's, I'm thinking about all the things around me so that the path is just a little bit clearer.
I think that's well said, Tom. Another area of consistency is in our products and services and pricing. And while you can change your products, you can change your services, you can change your pricing. I'm not saying you can't do those things, but there should be a logic to it. You can't be selling a weight loss. I don't know why I'm on weight loss today. That's twice. That's weird for me. But you can't be selling weight loss pills one day and then being an auto mechanic the next day. And then the third day, you can't be. Right. It just doesn't work. I was at a networking thing yesterday, and I met a guy who was a volunteer firefighter, a night shift police officer, and he was also selling some sort of caffeinated item that makes you feel better. And it was like, whoa.
Wow.
Who are you? I mean, he was a perfectly nice guy. I'm not saying he was doing anything wrong, but those three things, to me, were really jarring. And the way I was introduced to him is, this guy's a volunteer firefighter, and he's also a police officer. Okay, that's fine. Those are very aligned. First responder, public safety, I totally get it. But then he started talking to people about this item he had, and I'm thinking, which bucket do I put him in my mind? Because if we can't categorize people, I'm a firm believer, if you don't get into a category in someone's mind, you are waste. You are the stack of 300 business cards versus the card where they go, I've got to call Tom tomorrow.
Right. No, I agree. I think that's the key piece. When your network partners are out talking with others, if they can't be, if the person isn't clearly identifying who they're looking for, we can't be figuring out, like, okay, who's in that bucket? Who are the people I know that fit that? And if you're just like, well, I can't really place somebody in a bucket, I don't know what to really do with them. And sometimes I think with that too, it's like, yeah, they dabble in it, but does that really mean they're as effective at it as somebody else who's like committed to, this is who I am, this is what I do? And I think that just provides me with more confidence that this is who and what they are. And not that you can't do different things. You do a lot of different things. I can do a lot of different things. I have other parts of my life that are out there. But when I'm out networking.
Oh, they're out there, way out.
Yeah. How many people want to be a women's lacrosse official? I mean, what's up with that? And you're able to then when I go to networking events, I talk about my business, my work with organizations and nonprofits. And I think that's who I am in that space. It doesn't mean that I can't be other things. It's just I need to be consistent with that as I'm trying to grow that part of who I am.
And then I want to explain an example of consistency with just what a company is. So I did get permission to tell this story. John Hansen works on motors, and about 2 weeks ago, I drove a lawnmower, just a little push mower, a gas-powered push mower, over a rock in my yard that was there. I didn't see. Totally bent the blade up, messed up the frame of the mower. John at networking event said, I fix mowers, any motor, send it to me and I'll fix it. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to send this motor to John. So one of his guys was kind enough to come to my house, pick it up. They took it. I guess 2 days later, John goes, hey, I fixed it. All it needed was a new blade. I did this stuff. I'll get one of my guys to put it in his truck and bring it down to you. I'm like, oh, it's great, John. Really appreciate it. Gets put in the truck. Unfortunately, the truck did not get properly closed, the lift gate on a big box truck, and somehow the mower fell out. Unbeknownst to me, somewhere in the course of not John, one of his employees. I get a text from John, can you call me? Okay, call him. And he says he wants to see me on FaceTime. John and his wife are there. And John just says to me flat out, hey, had a little problem. Your mower was fixed. It fell out of the back of the vehicle. Don't worry, we're going to replace it. I'm like, John, you don't have to do that. Yeah, we're going to replace it. John's consistency of who he is, and I've seen him now. I was with him yesterday afternoon, and he took a call from someone, and he told me a story about another customer. His consistency to be, I'm going to do what's required, and I'm also going to shoot straight. You know, because he said to me yesterday, he was kind of worried about the call with me. You know, we do business together. I've talked about him. I think he was embarrassed, and he said yesterday he was embarrassed and he was frustrated by the whole situation. But he just said, here's what the deal is. We're going to make good. And it was like, okay. And so rather than telling the story where this guy messed up my mower and I lost my mower, this is a story of, wow, this guy really stands by his work. And when things go wrong, he makes good, which I'm sure someone's going to hear this and go, wow, I got to look into this guy. That sounds like the guy I want to work on my car, my boat,
right?
My anything. And that's the consistency of brand and consistency of purpose and mission that John has. And I know that because I've been with his employees and I've heard him say, this is who we are. We do the job. We make it work. And that's one of the things that when we have that consistency about what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it, who our customer is, what we're delivering, and when we don't live up to that expectation, which we all do, we all have mistakes, being straight, honest, and saying, look, I didn't meet the level of commitment I made to you, and here's how I'm going to make it right. And that means sometimes giving away free services. That means sometimes doing something extra. That means sometimes changing how we do it because we didn't plan it right. Or sometimes it means taking a loss. I've done projects where it's like, well, I thought it was going to be A, and I quoted them, and then it turns out to be B, which costs me money. And instead of going to them going, you know, I'm really a dummy. I need to charge you more money. Just, you know, you eat it, you live and you learn, you do the great work, and then and later you might mention to them, by the way, you know, I kind of misestimated on this thing. You got a really good deal. And they go, really? Wow. Wow, I respect that you stuck with your bid. Yeah, I did. I think all those reasons with consistency are really critical, no matter where you are in the business, whether you're a multi-million-dollar company, which is hard to be consistent, more people, more problems, or if you're a single solopreneur or just starting out, being consistent that this is who and what I am, and these are the lines I'm not going to cross. If I say this, this is what I do. And it's sometimes simple stuff. If I'm going to call you tomorrow, making the call, because that's consistency.
Yeah, and I think that the benefit of that is people know what they're getting. You know, there's not a confusion about what's going to happen. There's not a worry of like, you know, if I send my lawnmower, I might not get it back, or it might not get fixed. Or, you know, as you were talking about that, I got thinking about Disney. And now here is a huge operation. And every time I've ever experienced something with Disney, the experience has been consistent. Mm-hmm. You know what you're going to get. You know that customer service is going to be to the best. You know that if you have something happen that goes wrong, they are going to fix it and make it right. We were down there once, and my wife or daughter, one of them, left the camera in a bathroom. We walked away, didn't even think about it, whatever. Well, I was like, we're never going to find that. Well, sure enough, we went to Lost and Found the next day, and they said, oh, you know, let's go back. Let me go back and look. Sure enough, they had it. Because they have this consistency of they're going to take care of their customers, and they're going to do the best thing they can to make sure. So you usually go there expecting, all right, I'm going to have a good experience. And that brings people back, right? I mean, you don't go back to a place that you're like, yeah, I don't know what they were doing, and they didn't do a very good job. And maybe you go back a second time, and then if it doesn't happen again, you're like, I need to find someplace new to work with. And I think as an organization, when people know exactly how they're going to be treated by you, they're going to be that much more likely to come back, and you're going to reap the benefits of being there. I think that we provide this consistency. People know that at 8 o'clock, we're going to show up and talk about something, and they have an idea of what it means.
Well, it gets to the know, like, and trust quality, right? We buy from those we know, like, and trust.
Right.
know the company is going to do this thing. You trust it, and you have evidence of it. Tom, can you put up some of the comments? I see John says, good morning. Great to see you, John. Hope you're well. And Wally's got a comment. Robert Cialdini.
Yeah.
You're the name guy, Tom. I learned that yesterday. You said 56 names, I think. So what's that name right there?
Robert Cialdini, I believe, maintains that consistency is one of the 6 key ingredients in being able to influence people effectively. I would agree with that.
I love that. I'm going to look up Robert Cialdini because I'm not familiar with that. I want to know what the other 5 are. We might have 5 weeks of programming coming down the pike.
Well,
you think I'm kidding?
We graduated Hamilton together, and so and he's a big reader. He knows a lot of things. He's got a lot of different business interests, and I think he's a big reader. He sent me a great book that I looked at. That could be another conversation.
You looked at it? You didn't read it?
No, I read it. I mean,
no, the way you said it, you just look back like I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that's nice, Tom. Way to blow him off. Wally,
no.
If Tom doesn't want to read your books, I'm happy to take your suggestions.
Not at all.
And that brings me to a point. One of the things we're doing with our Renegade Wayfinders, Tom, which you know is, and that's our group for people who are really focused on taking action. We're going to have a book club where we're going to not just read books, but really look at what the benefit of those books is to your business and really apply the knowledge from books. Because one of the things, I knew Wally would give me a link. He's got the Wikipedia link. Thank you so much. One of the things that we found is people often read business books or skim business books or say they read business books, but don't take the lessons they can learn from them. So if that's something of interest to you, we'd be happy to talk to you about the Renegade Wayfinders. Haven't talked about that in a couple of days, but it's out there. The other thing is, if you want to get more involved with us and you're new to all this, please join our Ring of Renegades. Nice. You are really on. The Ring of Renegades is our group where we gather people who are focused. Thank you, Wally. Appreciate it. Where we focus people who are geared towards finding the opportunities. There's a lot of news out there. I was around a couple people yesterday that were doom and gloom and pandemic, and we're all going to be shut down in the fall, and the world's coming to an end. The people in the Ring of Renegades are not those people. The people in the Ring of Renegades are the ones who are focused on making things happen, making good things come, seeing the opportunities, and helping each other. There's a great deal of information in there just about how to look at your business, how to look at networking was something that came up yesterday. There was a poll yesterday. There's all kinds of quotes. I mean, it's quite a depository or repository. Sorry, repository. Depository is the place in the bookstore depository in Dallas where they allegedly shot Kennedy. Not the same thing. A repository, a place to go for everything to come together. See, there's where consistency bites you. I wasn't consistent.
Correct.
And therefore you're going, what's he talking about? Well, with that, Tom, we should probably wrap things up. It's been a great episode. So tell us, what's the one thing people can do? And limit it to 10 words. We're going to keep it super short today.
Yeah, you threw that on. People will know who you are if you're consistent. That's the benefit.
Bravo. There's nothing to add to that.
Will know who you are if you're consistent. Did it.
9 words. I'm not. You win with 9 words. I'm not even going to offer one. I'm going to let yours stand alone. It's been a great day. We will be back tomorrow to talk about consistency, another avenue of consistency. Until tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, have a great day, everyone.
Everybody have a great day. We will see you again tomorrow.